Drink so much with that cookie, you can't remember whether it's been a liter or not. That's why strictly one item. Well, that's not the only reason. There was this little boy, looked to be 4. Totally a stick. At 4, children can really be sticks. He was standing down there on his little legs and whispering something to his mama, who had Rama margarine and bread in her basket. He got up on his tiptoes. He looked guilty already, as if he knew she'd say no, but he just couldn't keep from asking. Because he was only 4, and he was such a stick, and that meant he still had the magic right to ask, even when there wasn't a chance in the world. A right that would end one day, once he got a little bigger. His parents already seemed to have money. I looked at them a little and thought, well, show me what you want. Today I'm your fairy godmother. Lucia gets her whiskas nearly every day. But he was so little, damn it, and I couldn't tell what he was pointing to. I looked cautiously in that direction and still wasn't sure whether it was the raspberry jam or the cherry preserves. All I could see was his mama with the margarine, shooting him down with a shake of her head. Under my breath, I said, "Don't lose heart, little man. Show me one more time." He reached up, but I still couldn't tell. They were already at the checkout, and I was standing by the shelf thinking, preserves or jam? Personally, I was in favor of the cherries. My mama only bought cherry preserves on major holidays, and you could stand on the balcony and spit pits at all the bald men. Preserves or jam? On the other hand, you could spread jam on a roll so it would last a few days, and the cherries would be gone in 10 minutes. Well, plus another half hour for the pits on the balcony. Damn my rule. They asked this one Jew, "Do you want a sandwich with butter or meat?" He answered, "With meter." Clever guy. Our professor's a Jew, too, but he's not at all clever. I mean, he's probably clever for a professor, but for a Jew, not so much. No one cares if he lives or dies, so he just rattles around that apartment of his. It's his fault. He could have lived very differently. In short, if not for my rule, I wouldn't have insulted Lucia either, probably. Damn, preserves or jam? I turned my head and looked to see if they had cameras. Apparently not. Then I started counting off the jars, pointing. It's easier for me like that. When we were kids and counted off for hide and seek, I always had to tap my chest. So I counted. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. It came out raspberry jam. I turned back one more time and took the cherries. Who cares what those stupid counting rhymes say? No one noticed anything at checkout, and I slipped outside. The 2 of them were already walking toward the bus stop. "Look," I said to the stick while his mama was distracted by some flyers. She must have wanted to rent an apartment. "See?" He looked at the jar and smiled. I thought, it was cherries after all. I said, "Take it." He did, and in a soft voice said, "Thank you." 10 seconds later, she was shouting after me, "Young lady!" I thought, she's out of her mind. Where have you ever seen young ladies in their 8th month? I'm a fairy godmother. On the other hand, I didn't have anything to feed Lucia now. The least I could do was stop by the department store and get a cover for the couch. What a bitch that turned out to be. I had to drag it from the kitchen department to the fitting room. I could barely button my coat, even though it's 2 sizes too big. But we didn't have to worry about Lucia anymore. I washed the oilcloth and spread it out again. Only it was going to be a little odd sitting on the couch. Like sitting on a table. Plus, it's floral, and probably slippery on the rear end. We had an English teacher in school who liked to get decked out like that, all flowery. When my father saw her, he started singing "Apple Trees in Bloom" by Martynov, right in the school corridor. You see, he hadn't known there was going to be a parents' meeting, so he'd found time for a drop after work. My mama said he was totally ignoring my upbringing, and she had to beat him about the head afterwards with a newspaper to make him stop singing. The English teacher